Hello there everyone, and welcome to a breakdown and instruction video for the Otter EDC M01 slider. So this is the Otter EDC M01. It's made up of a few different parts. There's the optional sandwich plate, and then the two different main parts of the slider here. The optional sandwich plate is permanently sealed together. The magnets are not interchangeable or adjustable, so this is just a single piece. You can't adjust this, but it will come in handy if you have it for making changes to this. And then this here is made up of two different pieces, both the same. You have the bottom plate piece and then the top piece. We'll get into both of those and how to disassemble it and change things up on there. This is what the bottom plate piece looks like, and then there's going to be three different dampeners here. This one here that's shaped like this gives you a full silent dampening when you place it on top of the magnets that you'll see in a second. This one here keeps the outside magnets from moving, and then the inside magnets will be crunchy, and this one here keeps the inside magnets from moving and the outside magnets will be crunchy. So you can change it up depending on what you would like for different levels, or if you want, you can leave them all out and then you'll be full crunchy. So let's get into changing things out on here. So the first and most important thing is when you take this apart, you have to either use different pieces of the slider or something metal like this build plate here that they'll stick to. You can use, if you have any sort of tin, you can use that to hold it there, because otherwise what's going to happen is when you take the magnets out, you take the top off, all the magnets inside are going to fly out, they're going to be attracted to each other, they're going to hit each other, and they're probably going to break, and then that's no good because then you won't be able to use the slider anymore. So these use a T10 Torx. Some of the very beginning ones used a 2mm, but these are a T10 Torx. So what you do is you just remove move both of the screws on the side you want to work on. And you got to make sure you hold this together, so you're going to keep pressure on both sides so it doesn't come apart once you take the screws out. And then you have a couple options, like I said. You can place it on something metal like this build plate. You can place it on this tin. You can place it on the other side and it'll stay together that way. Or if you have the 3-piece slider, it's really easy. You can just place it on one side of that slider. Once you do that, you can remove the top. And then what's going to happen is the magnets that are in there are going to be held in place by the other magnets or the piece of metal or whatever you're using, so these don't all fly out and crash into each other. So as you saw, I have these dampeners in for full silent there. But again, if you wanted crunch on the outside, you could put those in. If you wanted crunch on just the insides, you could put those in. Or if you wanted full crunch, you just leave it like that, put the top back on, and then screw them back in place. So now I'm going to get into, we're going to pause for a second for me to make some room, and I'm going to get into how to set up the magnets. Okay, so now let's say I want to get into this, adjust these magnets, move them around, turn this into a 3-click by taking these out and putting one of each in the middle, or something along those lines. So again, I have it attached to the middle sandwich plate, so these magnets aren't going to fly out. I can take something metal like my screwdriver here and pull out the first magnet, and then I can just keep going around doing this. I'm holding this in place because as I take these magnets out, this will be more likely to move a little bit, and so I'm just going to take all the magnets out, and now I've got my stack of magnets here. So I have a couple options for when I put these back. I have the stack of magnets. I like to use one of these pole binders here. It'll hold the magnets in place. I can use it to put them where they need to go. If you don't have one of those, you can use the stack of magnets. You can use your screwdriver, or you can just use your fingers. So I'm going to take out the lower strength magnets first, set this up this way, and I can just take the magnets, put it in place, and then with the larger ones, once it's in place, I just slide right off the top. So there's enough space in there where it holds the magnet in place as I'm holding that together, and I can just slide the stack right off the top. The magnet that is in there is holding it in place. And then what I do when I make these is, for these, I just pull one off the top, set it in the hole, and then kind of set it down in place. Make sure you're not holding it way up and kind of dropping it, because that could lead it to jump over to one of these magnets, and again, these magnets are fragile and could break, but I do that. If you're doing both sides and you don't have this in place, and you need to make sure that the sides are opposite to attract each other, that's where this pole finder comes in handy. You can do a stack of magnets off each side. If you don't have that though, all you really need to do is you would take your stack of magnets, put these magnets in, and then turn your stack around, and then do the other side. And then that'll make sure that the opposites are attracted towards each other if you're doing it on the same plate here. Again, if you're using one side, you get one side set with all the magnets oriented with one pole, one direction, and then when you put the other one on and put the magnets in, they're gonna go to where they're attracted toward these rather than being repelled by them. So once I get those magnets set in place, I take my spacers here, or my dampeners that I'm going to use. I set those in where they go, and then I take my top plate, put that on, and then it's pretty much the opposite of what I did before. So I'm going to keep this together, take my sandwich piece off, and then still making sure the important part that I'm holding this, because if I let go of that top, the magnets are all going to fly out, and screw it in. These are 3D printed. The nut is inset in the top, so we don't have to crank this down super tight. I get it to where I just hit a little bit of resistance and then just give it maybe a 1/16 to an 1/8 of a turn, and that's plenty. And then the screws are set in, they're down below the surface, they're not gonna get in the way of anything here, and then you're back to having it put together. So again, the really important thing is make sure you do this with some sort of metal plate, tin, this, again, if you don't have this middle piece, you don't have a metal plate to work with, you can accomplish the same thing. You would take these two screws out, still holding it, put it together like this, and then take the top off, and that's going to keep the magnets in place so the magnets don't fly out and break. Because these neodymium magnets, they are fragile from impact forces like that, so that could lead them to break. So there we go, just a quick video of how to change up the magnets on here, making sure that they stay in and don't fly out and break. I hope it's helpful to those of you that are watching it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. You can go to the Otter EDC Den group on Facebook. I'll link it down below. I'm pretty active on there, and I'm always happy to help out and to answer any questions on these that you might have, or any of the other products that we have. So again, thank you for your support. I hope you really enjoy your M01, and happy fidgeting.